You also did the speaking of pioneering stuff with Back to the Future too. You worked on the system that essentially allows. I think the Matrix wouldn't happen if it wasn't for this the identical pattern of motion with the.
It was just a standard motion control system, except that we were able to do a MoCo system that was a field system. It was normally, up till that point, motion control cameras were a ton, and they worked on tracks that had to be perfectly leveled and weren't something that went out on set.
Yeah, so, like you could put it into a suitcase, what you guys came up with, right?
Well, it was more like bigger cases. But Mike McKenzie was the lead engineer on that. He was the on-set engineer. But we came up with, it was a motion control system based on our Motion Master system that could record the Panther Dolly truck motion and the pan and tilt and boom. So then we could come back to the studio and do the same action, just play that back with the talent walking alongside or whatever. And that made for a lot of shots. We used that there. We used a similar kind of thing, I think, on Axe Murderer. I worked on So I Married an Axe Murderer.
That stuff on Back to the Future too, where like that's what set it apart. Is usually you could tell when there was going to be like they had to rely on like split screen and stuff like that, or a steady camera. But then when they had like the shot of like coming around Marty's face and showing him talking to himself, it's like that it blurred reality but like back when you didn't know that technology was a possibility.
Yep, and being able to do things like that, and a lot of that comes all down also to our camera department, our camera assistants, who truly understand that the camera really needs to be in the same place. It needs to be locked down. It needs to move a certain way. And they understand about repeatability and tightness and just making things right. And we had some of the best camera assistants in the world. There's a guy, Pat McCardle, I saw him on a set a couple months ago. And these are the guys that the ILM camera assistants were ones that could think backwards, upside down at 2 frames a second, at 120 frames a second. They could visualize this stuff. They could take equipment they'd never seen before and understand how to put it together and make it work. And I think we had some of the best camera assistants in the world. Mm-hmm. And so with that kind of skill and just attention to detail was the thing of paying attention to all those little details. That's what gets you those shots without any shake, with no clues to tell you that this is an effects shot.